Now, track days. Have you ever thought of doing one? Perhaps you have, but you're not too sure of your abilities and you don't want to show yourself up. Or perhaps you don't want to drop your pride and joy. Or then again, perhaps you don't think that you've got the right kit. Well, there is an answer. And today we're at the Boddice Track Training School, where not only do you get the use of a CBR 600 Honda, you also get to use their kit. So the structure of the day, you take us through it. How do you put the thing together?
When the students arrive in the morning, we do the initial safety briefing. We tell them a little bit about the day, about the course, about the track, and about the bikes they're going to ride. We then kit them up in the leathers, unless they want to use their own, of course. And the first session out is a familiarisation session, 10 minutes to learn their way around the circuit, find out where the bumps are, where the bends are, and also have a look at the cones. We have a unique cone system here, which incorporates something we call a focus cone, which encourages people to look through the corner rather than looking down at the floor. After that, we move on to the first exercise, which is a turning exercise. We cover counter steering, which a lot of people have probably heard of and read about, but very few have actually used as a tool, as an actual weapon to make the bike work. Anybody heard of counter steering? Counter steering. Anybody not heard of counter steering? Opposite steering, you know? Right bar for right, left bar for left, yeah? Counter steering is very, very valuable. If anybody wants to know how it works, come and see me later. But essentially, it involves you putting a force on the bars. Now the problem with sports bikes is the bars are down here and you're up here. Counter steering works by putting the bars forward, not down. If you ride like that and you go to counter steer to the right, for example, you end up putting the force down, compressing one side of the forks. Makes the bike unstable. Bend your arms, get your forearms parallel, then when you push the bars, all the force goes forward. And the bike turns. So bend your arms, you get 100% input. Keep your arms straight, you start to dilute the input, you dilute the results. That's why sometimes when you stiffen up, the bike doesn't seem to want to turn because you're pushing down and it doesn't work. Okay, everybody got the idea?
Now, this isn't anything to do with CBT. The idea here is to use a bit of counter steering and also shift the body weight to get round these cones. And so it might look easy, but it's not. But the idea is once you've actually done this, you're going to make a better rider on the track and be able to get round those little hairpins and those nudgery bits.
Try and chill out a little bit, just relax, okay? A little bit quicker next time. Try and focus on it a little bit further ahead.
We then encourage them, if they want to try hanging off. Again, a lot of myths surrounds the whole hanging off thing. People think that it's the only way to make a bike turn. And we explain to them why it works, how it works, what indeed you do and when you should use it. And again, they're given a chance to practice it. That takes us about 45 minutes, then we break for a coffee. During the coffee break, we talk about the next exercise, which is a braking exercise. Again, a very black art to a lot of riders, how to make a bike stop very quickly. And I think a lot of us are guilty of overestimating how good our bike brakes are and how quickly our bikes will stop. We get them to come out and practice coming down the straight and getting up to varying speeds, anything from 60 to 100 miles an hour, and at a pre-arranged point, stopping as quickly as possible.
And this is all front brake stuff as well, I heard you say.
Yes, we do. We tend to encourage people to move away from using the back brake. While the back brake is good at low speed, in gravel, on grass, in traffic, in a high-speed environment, if you're braking properly with the front brake, the back brake really will cause you more problems because the back wheel should hardly be touching the floor. Yeah. So we encourage people to try that, and I suppose what we're doing is giving people confidence in the power of the front brake and realising that it won't do what the old rally grifter used to do when you put the front brake on and send you over the handlebars.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, we've maybe got rid of a few demons and dispelled a few myths, so that people aren't as afraid of using the front brake as they perhaps were when they came. And I think for me this is probably one of the most valuable exercises that we do. So many people fall off bikes because of overuse or misuse of the front brake.
Now this, on this empty piece of tarmac, this is the braking run this is. So the idea is go to the end, build up your speed to around about 60, 70 miles an hour, come flying down there, and when you reach the cone, slam on the brakes. Well, it's not brakes in this case, it's front brake only, because this is the idea. Slam the front brake on, well clear of the rear. Just saw the rear wheel hopping a little bit there, but that's still in control, straight line braking. Pete, what do you hope to get from today?
Well, with a bit like to improve my confidence and ability and speed through corners and general better machine handling, I think. That's where I'm aiming at.
Have you done a track day before at all?
No, nothing like this, no. Not as advanced as this, no.
Yeah, so this is the first. What do you normally ride on the road?
I got a CBR 600.
So you should be okay on one of these?
Fairly used to it, but I think these are slightly different. They have, sports fairing and one thing or another, so make the best of the day.
I've come particularly to improve specific aspects of my riding, mainly right-hand bends.
What's the problem with those for you then?
I just feel a lacking in confidence on the road. I come into the bend and I'm not sure where it is, and I just want to go through the techniques and improve that aspect of my riding.
So left-handers, no problem?
No problem whatsoever.
So a right-hand circuit like Darley is going to be just the job for you?
It looks like it's going to be ideal.
And what do you normally ride on the road? What's
I've
your
got
road bike?
a Superlight, 900 SS Superlight, and an old 900 SS Bevel.
Okay, well we better let you get on for the day then.
Thank you very much.
This takes us nicely round to lunchtime, where we go in and they have lunch, and the lunch is included in the day, so they have as much to eat as they want. We do a light buffet for them. And during lunchtime, we take them through a vehicle dynamics and tyre technology talk. We tell them all about how a bike turns, what makes a bike go around the corner, why the profile of tyres is so important, and why different tyres are better than others. Now, believe it or not, the most important aspect of a bike's cornering ability is its tyres. Has anybody ever wondered what makes a bike go around a corner? Anybody? Yeah? Right. And you know, of course, that it is, in fact, the shape of the tyres. The cone effect. If we roll a cone along a table, we'll notice it goes around in a circle. It goes around in a circle because of something called camber thrust. Thrust from the camber of the tyre. As you lean a bike into a corner, you drop onto a decreased rolling radius, which means that the tyre produces a cornering force. And it is that makes the bike corner. Now, different tyres are built with different types of profile. This is a sports touring tyre, slightly flattened off in the middle, and we'll explain why that is later. But essentially, it's got a nice progressive profile. That means that as you come to a corner and you counter steer into your corner, the bike rolls onto its edge, nice and progressively, giving you a predictable and consistent rate of turn, which is what you want when you're out touring out on the open road. If, however, you want something a little bit more sporty, you might go for something like this Avon, which is a sports tyre. The main difference with this tyre, other than just the profile, is the compound, stickier compound. Gives you more grip, but it also gives you a faster rate of turn, courtesy of the fact that it's more peaky. Again, this one is quite worn, not as squared off as the other one, and we'll explain why in a moment, but the profile gives you a more rapid turn. Doesn't give quite as much straight line stability because there isn't as much rubber in a straight line, but counter steer and the bike will turn even quicker. If you really, really want to go quickly, you can move on to something like this. This is a proper racing tyre, and notice the difference in profile there. It's a very peaky profile, which gives you a very, very rapid turn rate. The bike will drop into a corner awesomely quickly, but straight line stability is compromised. Now, if you're a racer and you're on a track, straight line stability isn't quite as important as the ability of the tyre to give you turning forces when you want them. So when you buy a tyre, you need to understand what the tyre's for. Look at the shape of the tyre. A flat tyre like this will slow down the steering of the same bike that's maybe been fitted with this without you doing anything to the suspension or the geometry. So by fitting different tyres, you completely alter the way the bike works. Okay, chaps? Let's go and play. It's about confidence, it's about dispelling myths and rumours. So many people are afraid that if they lean a bike into a corner, they'll lose grip, and they're paranoid that the bike will just slide away from them. And we try to intellectualise away those fears and say to them, look, if you lean a bike, you actually get more grip and you don't have to be frightened. Yeah. And then the afternoon is split into 10-minute sessions. Everybody's out on track with the instructors, putting it all into practice and making the day work.
And I noticed, because I've done a few track days, but interestingly, you don't allow overtaking, do you?
No, we don't. We never have more than 4 bikes and an instructor out on circuit at any one time. The circuit's 1.5 miles long, and we say to people, look, if you can't find your own little piece of tarmac in 1.5 miles and there's only 4 bikes, there's something wrong. Yeah. this makes it a lot safer for everybody. You don't have to worry about somebody diving up your inside as you're getting ready for a corner.
Yeah.
You can focus completely on what's happening in front of you. And again, it gives people confidence. It allows them to concentrate on riding the bike rather than all the peripheries that sort of make riding so unpleasant on the road.
Right, and then if they've got through that lot, which hopefully they do, except for the one which we
Yes.
won't dwell on.
No, we won't talk about that.
And then the end of the day, you got a rather nice touch when they you do your little presentation.
Yeah, we do. We like, the instructors are asked during the day to pick out a bike or a rider who has shown the most improvement. This isn't necessarily the guy that's the fastest or indeed the slowest. It's the guy that's listened to what he's been told, taken it on board and put it into practice, and they get a little prize. It's only a baseball cap or a t-shirt or something like that from one of the companies that sponsor us.
And so, with the morning's exercises completed, and all the pupils now quite happy with counter-steering and shifting of body weights to make the bike move, and quite happy to slam the front brake on at anything from 60 to 100 miles an hour, it was on to the afternoon exercises, which was about cornering and finding the right line in a corner. That was one of the instructors making it look rather easy. It's actually not quite as easy as it looked, and not every pupil got it right first time.